I walk past the abandoned house at the end of the dirt road, a place I usually avoid because the walls are cracked, the windows are broken, and the silence feels heavy. The afternoon light reveals dry weeds swallowing the yard, and rusted metal scattered near the collapsed porch. I slow down when I sense movement where nothing should move. I stop when I see a skinny Labrador standing near the doorway of the abandoned house. The Labrador is visibly underweight, ribs clearly defined under dirty, stretched fur, legs thin and shaking. A thick metal chain is locked tightly around the Labrador's neck, the cold links pressing into the skin and pulling the head downward. The chain is short and fixed to a concrete block on the ground, preventing any real movement. I stay still as the Labrador looks directly at me. The eyes are wide, alert, and exhausted at the same time. The Labrador does not bark or make a sound, but the body language is clear. The Labrador tries to step forward and the chain snaps tight, forcing the animal back and twisting the neck at an unnatural angle. I take a cautious step closer, fully aware that this is an abandoned property and that the situation is dangerous. The Labrador circles slowly, the chain scraping against the concrete, each movement limited and painful. The paws leave shallow marks in the dust, and the animal keeps returning to the same spot, trapped by the length of the chain. I feel the weight of the moment settle in my chest. The Labrador pauses, lowers its head slightly, and then looks back at me again. The chain remains taut, the metal collar digging into the fur. There is no sound, no human presence, only the clear visual plea of an animal that cannot leave and cannot survive like this for long. I realize this is not something I can ignore, and I understand that if I walk away, nothing will change for the skinny Labrador chained in front of the abandoned house. I step closer and see how the metal chain cuts into the Labrador's neck, flattening the fur and pressing into irritated skin. Every small movement pulls against the chain, and the pain is visible in the way the body tenses. I notice the Labrador's breathing is shallow and fast, the chest moving too, quickly for a body this weak. The ribs expand and contract sharply, showing how little strength remains. I look around the abandoned yard and realize there is no food, no water, and no real shelter. The sun hits the open ground directly, and the broken house offers only fragments of shade. I see sharp debris scattered everywhere, rusted metal and splintered wood surrounding the area where the Labrador is forced to stay. One wrong movement could cause another injury. The Labrador tries to lie down, but the short chain forces the neck into a strained position. The body cannot rest properly, and the head remains pulled at an unnatural angle. I watch as the Labrador's body begins to tremble, exhaustion taking over muscles that no longer have energy to resist. The shaking does not stop. I kneel slightly and look closer at the neck, noticing raw skin beneath the chain. The marks are deep, and I understand the chain has been there for a long time. I realize this is not recent neglect, and waiting any longer will only make the situation worse. I pull my phone from my pocket and step a short distance away, never taking my eyes off the skinny Labrador chained near the abandoned house. My hands move fast as I search for local animal rescue services, knowing I cannot waste time. I kneel again beside the Labrador, keeping my movements slow and visible. The heavy metal chain around the neck remains tight, and the animal flinches slightly when I get closer, but does not try to pull away. I remove my jacket carefully and place it on the ground to create a small patch of shade. The Labrador stays within the short radius allowed by the chain, the concrete block preventing any change in position. I pour water from my bottle onto the dusty ground near the Labrador's mouth, careful not to touch the chain. The Labrador lowers its head with difficulty and laps slowly, the chain still pulling the neck downward. I hear distant sounds of a vehicle approaching, and I look up the road while staying close to the Labrador. Time feels stretched as I wait, watching the animal's breathing and trembling body. A rescue truck appears at the end of the dirt road and slows near the abandoned house. I stand and signal clearly, relief mixing with urgency as I know help is finally here. The rescue team moves quickly toward the skinny Labrador, assessing the heavy metal chain locked around the neck. The animal tries to shift, but the chain tightens, and the breathing becomes more erratic. As one rescuer stabilizes the Labrador's head, the chain pulls sharply when the animal loses balance. For a moment, the neck bends too far and the body collapses to the ground. I freeze as the Labrador lies still, the chain fully taut, the concrete block preventing any relief. The chest barely moves, and the situation turns critical in seconds. A rescuer signals urgently and adjusts position, lifting the chain slightly to relieve pressure on the neck. Another rescuer prepares the cutting tool, aligning it carefully with the metal links. The cutter closes around the chain, and there is a brief pause where everything feels suspended. The wrong cut could injure the neck or make the situation worse. The metal chain snaps open, tension releases instantly, and the Labrador's head drops into a natural position. Air fills the lungs again, and the chest begins to rise more steadily. The Labrador lies still for a moment, then takes a deeper breath, the chest rising and falling in a steady rhythm for the first time. The neck is finally free, no metal pulling the head down, no concrete block anchoring the body to the ground. The rescue team gently lifts the Labrador onto a stretcher, supporting the weak legs and fragile body. The animal does not resist, eyes half open, exhaustion slowly giving way to relief. I stand nearby, watching as clean water touches the Labrador's mouth again, this time without pain or restriction. The breathing remains calm, and the trembling begins to fade. The rescue truck door closes softly, and the Labrador is safely inside, no longer exposed to the abandoned house or the harsh ground. The chain stays behind, useless and silent. I step back as the truck prepares to leave, meeting the Labrador's gaze one last time. There is no sound, no movement, just a quiet understanding. As the truck drives away, the yard feels different. The abandoned house is still broken, but the suffering is gone, and I walk away knowing the Labrador now has a future beyond this place.